So here's the before, okay? Let me show you what a mess this is. This is our panel box for our breaker. Our everything electric in our house is done from here, and it's a mess. Now, the guys who are fixing this they've opened it up, which is good. It's a benefit for me because I want to show you how messed up this thing is. Here's as you can see, only a few of the breakers have been labeled, and they've only been labeled because these guys have had to figure out what goes where when they've come out to fix stuff. Look at the corrosion. It's terrible. It's nasty. Look at the wiring system going up. It's completely shredded, and I'm going to tell you why here in just a second. All these wires, shredded wires, exposed wires on the outside of the house, right beside the chimney. Total freaking fire hazard waiting to happen, okay? So this is the before, a complete and total mess. I'm going to tell you the story behind this, and then we're going to show you the after. Oh, what a wreck. This has needed to be replaced for a long time coming. Okay guys, this is supposed to be a before and after video, but I just came out to make sure the technician's okay and saw what he's done already. He's about halfway through, and I'm so amazed just by how much better it looks at the halfway mark. This is going to be a before, halfway, and after video. Look at that. What a difference. Oh, look at this. It's got the grounding rods in there. Wow. Get my 6. No rather than about it, we are squatching. Okay, so guys, I'm actually sitting up here in the woods reading, still working on the October Country Stories by Ray Bradbury, nice collection of short stories. I started recording because I was facing the woods. I love to face the woods. So when I take my short breaks in between pages or whatever, I just stare out into the woods. There it was again. Keep your eyes open. Guys, there's something or someone or something out there potentially. Kept distracting me, and I kept looking up halfway through paragraphs, not even after pages. So I decided to pull out the old phone here and see what we may or may not be able to see or hear back there. So you know how it goes. Hear that? It's like a grunt or a howl. Listen to me, but don't watch me. Watch what's back there, or what may be back there. See if we can capture a glimpse. So, while we're doing this, I'm going to, I'm not being paid to promote the company or the people down there doing the work that's being done today, but I'm going to do it anyway. And they're not cutting me, I don't get a discount if I mention them on YouTube. They don't know I'm doing this. There's been a couple times I've dealt with people who I felt that, well, they didn't do a good job, and I made videos about it. And, I feel better about making a video promoting someone or a group who actually does me right. And so that's kind of what I'm doing here. If you live in the Central Virginia area, I think they service like Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Greene, Orange, Nelson, probably Madison, probably, what is that, Rockingham? No, that's up that way. Buckingham County. I heard a knock, tree knock. If you need electrical work done, if you need plumbing work done, consider contacting Fitch Services out of Charlottesville, Fitch. They're wonderful people. Their prices are wonderful. They do great work. Here's what's going on with that electrical box. Okay, the woman who owned our house before we bought it inherited the property, as she did a lot of other properties. And she basically, guys, I'm going to say it like it is. She was a slumlord. Daddy was very successful. Daddy accumulated wealth on his own. And it was passed on to someone who, she was a slumlord. And if something at this house broke, she would have one of her nephews fix it just good enough to pass inspection. And we found all this stuff out after the fact. We got, suckered a little bit there during the buying process. I shared this in another video. She left a note on the counter that said, dear real estate agents, make sure to turn the water off. Or when you show the house, you need to turn the pump on at the breaker box and make sure to turn it off so nobody accidentally leaves a toilet running. Sounds believable, right? She doesn't live in the area anymore. She's a couple hours away, and nobody was here, so hear it? Tree knock. Okay, so well, as it turned out, the pump system was shot, the well pump. The reserve tank had a hole in it and was not properly installed. It wasn't in any sort of casing. They simply buried it in the ground, so it had corroded. All the pipes under the house had pinholes in them, old copper piping. Over time, as we could, and with cash out of income, we spent over $5,000 having all that fixed. Fitch did the majority of that work for us. The first part was the repiping of the houses. We wish we'd have found them first. We didn't. We had another organization, and I'm not going to mention their name. They did a good job, but they charged us twice as much as they should have. But we had just moved here from Asia. We didn't have any contacts, really. This is before we'd actually, gone out, put ourselves out there, and made some friends. We have plenty of contacts now, and we have really good friends. Few, because I'm very picky, I'm very choosy. I don't have many, but the ones I have are loyal, they're faithful. Example, last winter, and I know I'm getting sidetracked, guys, but hey, isn't that what this show's all about? Last winter, we had our car battery died. This is before we got our new truck, our old Toyota Sequoia. We finally just got rid of it because it started nickel and diming us to death. But the battery was dead, and my beautiful bride Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, I think she mentioned that on Facebook, and she wasn't sending out an SOS. She wasn't calling for help. Within 30 minutes of her making that post, we had two friends who lived 30 minutes away from us, which means they must have gone out and gotten a car as soon as they saw that post, came out here without telling us they were coming and without us asking them, with jumper cables. And one had one of the charging boxes. Real friends, So anyway, we found Fitch next, and their work is excellent, and their prices were so much better that we've just used them ever since for everything. They've replaced our well. That was a $2,000 job. They replaced the reserve tank and put the housing in. That was almost $2,000 because so much was involved with getting it done correctly. Okay, and some jackleg who knew everything fixed it. Attempted to before that and did it incorrectly, and that work is actually what caused the pump to finally die. He got silt caught in everything, got clogged up with silt, and the pump stayed on because it kept going and burn out the pump. It was just a mess. Here's what I've learned. If I can't fix it, if it's above my pay grade, there's nothing unmanly in hiring professionals, okay? I'm not an electrician. I'm not a plumber. And I don't have this ego that says I've got to know everything about everything and I've got to do it myself because I ain't going to pay someone $500 to do something I could do for $80. Hey, if it's a $500 job, dude knows what he's doing. He's actually qualified to do it. I'm going to pay $500 and have him do it. Or you end up with making your problem a bigger problem. But that's just me. And so anyway, everything they fixed, we've never had a problem with since. Okay, they're really good. And so this breaker box, as you saw, and back to the landlord slum lady, it was a mess when we bought the house, and we knew that it would need to be fixed in time. And Fitch looked at it the first time they ever came out here to do anything for us, and that was in that first year here. And they said, you got about 5 years on this, and after that, this is really going to be like a fire hazard. And you saw it. We were almost to that point. So a couple weeks ago, we had an electrical issue inside the house. The house was built in 1903. there was no electricity or running water or anything back at that time. So as all these amenities came into being, they were just kind of like put on the house with, tape and bubble gum. Well, that's the way the woman did it that owned the house. She wasn't going to pay to have it done correctly, I guess. Didn't want to dip into her millions. So, okay, that's a truck. That's the air brakes on a truck. But there was a bang back here behind me just before that. So anyway, Liam, a young professional technician from Fitch Services, came out a couple weeks ago to fix a minor problem we had with our electricity. He looked at the box. He said, this needs to be replaced. I said, I know. I said, we've been doing everything piecemeal because we do it as we can, when we can. We go out of our way to avoid debt because, and I've shared this before, I've been third world poor before. My wife was third world poor her entire first 28 years of her life. We don't want to go back to that. I don't care if I'm never rich. I have no care about ever being rich. I just want to make sure I never end up third world poor again. And when you start that debt game, you're well on the way. And we all know this, that's as much as I'll say with that. You'll never be free. Okay. Once you get in that trap, it's part of the soul trap, and we're not in that trap. So I told the guy, I know, but we don't really have the money now. He goes, I'm going to go back and work you up a quote. And it's in the thousands. And I said, I know, but you might just be wasting your time. He says, well, let me see what I can do. Let me talk to him at the office. So I get an email that afternoon, and it's from Nola, their office lady. Dealt with her for a couple years, a wonderful person. Everybody with this company I've ever dealt with is wonderful. JR, Brent, Alex, there's shout outs. These techs are so wonderful. I know them on a first name basis. And they're not out here all the time. My house isn't breaking all the time. They're out here a couple times a year probably. It's 117 years old, and they're good at what they do. And I'm not, if I don't know how to do it, I'm not doing it. And I'm not letting some jackleg who thinks he knows everything come in and do it again and end up with the problem becoming bigger like last time. Okay. So they sent me an email and said, Mr. Lake, here's a quote, several $1,000s. It said, you've been a customer of ours for 2 years. You've always paid, like, when the work is done. We trust you. We don't mind doing this for you now so that your family is not put at risk with this thing, which is now pretty much a fire hazard, especially with winter coming. Can you pay this amount monthly over this period of time? And I was like, well, sure. We wouldn't even notice that, And she's like, all right, we'll get everything set up. And they did everything. And they contacted the electric company that we're with because they have to, because the guy came out this morning, Mike from Central Virginia Electric Co-op, great guy. He's been out here doing stuff before. He came out and shut the power off so Liam could replace the box, and then Mike's going to come out again this afternoon with the inspector, make sure it's correct, and turn the power back on. Fitch Services, listen to this. They could have sold me their own products, like the boxing, the housing that all this stuff goes in. They buy this stuff, I'm sure, like everybody else, mark it up a little bit, make a little bit of profit on parts like everybody else, but they didn't do that. They contacted our electric company provider, CVEC, and got those parts off of them for free to keep our costs down. Who does that? That's amazing. Most people love marking parts up because that's where a big part of their profit comes from. Not Fitch Services in Charlottesville. They went to the electric company, got those parts for free to keep our costs down. We're basically just paying for labor and very few parts. It's amazing. They're letting us pay them over a period of time that's comfortable for us. They're supposed to be here at 8 o'clock this morning. Liam pulled up my driveway at 7:55. I was just going down to open the gate to let him in, and he let himself in, which is fine. 5 minutes early, just like we do it in the military. When you are late, when you're late, you tell me you're going to be at my house at 2 and you show up at 3, what that tells me is you don't respect me because you don't value my time. You don't have enough respect because, I work from home and everybody thinks, oh, he's always home. I'll get there when I get there. No, I work from home. If you tell me you're coming out at 2, I will work until 1:45 and then I'll stop and be prepared to meet you at 2. You come here at 3, You just wasted an hour of my time, and time is money. It is. Okay? So anyway, they're respectful enough to be on time when they come out. It's amazing. Okay? So it's an amazing company. They're doing amazing work. Respectful, wonderful people. I just can't say enough good things about them. So if you're in Charlottesville, Albemarle County, Central Virginia area, you need electrical work done, you need plumbing work done. They do heating and air. Our next project on this old house is to get the ductless heating and cooling system. We're still going to burn wood in the winter, even when we have that. But summer, we're using window unit air conditioners. We want to get rid of that. And then plus it will continue to increase the value of the home by having the most updated heating and cooling system. Right now, we have baseboard. That stuff's expensive. We don't use it. We burn wood. So anyway, that's going to be the next project we use them for. We're trying to do that next spring. So I think it's about time we go down there and see how that work's doing. Let's go see what the after product looks like. All right, guys, and here is pretty much the final product. Our technician Liam, he still needs to go in here and label the breakers, but he's getting ready to do that. But look at that. Isn't that beautiful work? He started at about 8:30, and so it's been a long day for him, and he's been out here going nonstop. Liam, a very impressive 19 years young man. Look at that. You remember, rewind the beginning of the video if you forgot how nasty this was. This wire was shredded. Wires were exposed. Mike from Central Virginia Electric Co-op came out and fixed that. Everything is new. It's no longer a fire hazard. And wow, what wonderful work. Okay, so I am going to wrap this up now. I know I talked for a long time earlier. That was actually hours ago today. I've had a long day. I ran 3 miles this morning, biked 8 miles with Dearly, mowed a ton of grass. But it's not dark yet, so I might split some firewood too. But I was talking to Liam, the technician, and he really passed some information on to me that I view as highly valuable, especially to young people, if they are willing to listen. Liam's only 19 years old. We're very impressed with him. His work, you saw his workmanship, very respectful young man. And so we were just talking, and it turns out he was explaining to me the process he's going through to be an electrician. He talked about this school called K-Tech, which is in Charlottesville. It's like a vocational college, and he said that if you're from the county or the city, you can go there for free when you're in high school. And he did that. Like his last 2 years of high school, they have a 4-year journeyman's electrician program, I think is how he worded it. He said he's in his 3rd year of that, so he's about another year and a half or so away from being a licensed journeyman electrician. So he works now. Fitch has the master contract, and he works under that, so that's how he's covered. But he'll have his own journeyman's license, and he is going to be like 20 when he does it. And after high school, this school that he goes to, this K-Tech, it only costs $1,000 a year. He said roughly $1,000 a year. Guys, the days of needing a college degree, I believe, are behind us. I mean, I have one, and I value education. But listen, I live in a college town, and I know a lot of people with master's degrees from nice universities, such as the University of Virginia, who are unemployable. They are unemployed, and I say they're unemployable because the jobs that used to exist in our economy just aren't there anymore. And this is not new news. Look, we're YouTubers, okay? I write social media. We've worked on social media for 10 years, my wife and I. You don't need a college degree for that. And I'm not knocking education. My advice is, we tell our son, if you want to go to college, that'd be great. It'd be wonderful if you do that and you get a college education. But if you decide you don't want to, that's great as well. I think, I'm Generation X. I think my generation is the last generation that kind of needed to have a college degree if you wanted to be, put yourself a step up, at least in the hiring pool competition. This young man down here, 19 years old, within just a couple of very few short years, if he's not already, is going to be earning more money from being an electrician than many people my age who have advanced degrees but can't find work. So take that to heart. I know most of our viewers are actually over 55, so you might want to pass that on to your grandchildren. Now, I thanked Fitch, I thanked Liam. You know, I told you all the favors Fitch has done with us, allowing us to, you know, pay this over a period of time in an amount that's not even going to be uncomfortable for us. There's someone else that I have to thank before I can end this video, and that's you. That is every single one of you watching this video. We are only able to live the life we live here where we live it on our beautiful homestead in Central Virginia because you take time out of your day to watch these videos. There's a number of you on here who spend your hard-earned money to buy the books I write. Thank you. That's why we were able to, that and with Fitch's help and the solid they're doing us, is why we're able to have that mess fixed. Our house is not now subject to a major potential fire hazard. And I want to thank each and every one of you, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you for more next time. I heard a tree knock. So I guess this is the PBS S, the potential Bigfoot Sasquatch.